Joe McMoneagle, who is a psychic and remote viewer, considered to be the original remote viewer, sat down on the Shawn Ryan Show and gave a 6-hour interview. We're going to take a look at a 10-minute clip from that interview. Links are in the description. If you're new to the channel, y'all, and you like content like this, please hit that subscribe button. We put out a new video every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do not miss a day, y'all. And of course, hit that like button. That really helps out the video. So thank y'all so much for the support there, vetters. And of course, comment down below. What do you think of this story? What do you think of Joe McMoneagle? What do you think of Project Stargate? Let's dive in. A little bit of detail here. This is from the Shawn Ryan Show description from the full interview. Joe McMoneagle is a former U.S. Army Chief Warrant Officer and was among the first remote viewers to be recruited into the previously classified Stargate Project. Project Stargate was the United States' first organized research into psychic phenomena via the Defense Intelligence Agency and contractor SRI International. Now, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a video on Project Stargate. So this is just a little, amuse-bouche to get us going for tomorrow's video for Project Stargate as a whole. So let's dive in, take a look at this clip. I got it all lined up. Y'all been asking for this video, so I really enjoyed the conversation. I didn't watch the whole podcast. It's a lot to take in, but I found this cool clip I thought we would watch.
They gave me a picture of a building, and they said, we're not going to tell you where this building is. Your charge here, the mission, A, find the building. Once you found it, countries, nobody cares. Find this building. Once you find the building, go to the, I can't remember, it was second or third floor. Pass through the wall. Go down the hallway. Find the bank vault door. Pass through the vault door into we'll call it a lab. Go to the northwest corner and there's a table, and on the table is an object. Push your face into the object. Collect as much data as you can. Wake yourself up and draw it to detail in scale on a piece of paper. That was my mission. It took me 2.5 weeks of out of bodies just to find the building. And when I found the building, it took 3.
Real quick. So remote viewing, for those of you that don't know, essentially is this idea that you can, I've read many different ways about this, right? But you can have an out-of-body experience, literally go somewhere else in the world, like a teleportation mentally, and, see things. Now, supposedly you can also time travel with it, see into the future, see into the past, right? You can travel long distances like this. And so what they're asking them to do, right, is saying, hey, we set up something, right? Go find this for us. So he has the ability to transcend, right? Walls, everything. Nothing can stop you, right? So you're in one place, you're in place A, but you can get to place B just mentally, taking yourself there, right? And seeing what's there. And when he says out of bodies, that's what he means, out of body experiences. So, yeah.
3 or 4 out of bodies to get to the vault room. But I was finally able to pass through the vault door, which is an experience in itself. Passing through a vault door, you can actually feel it. It's like peeling your way through an onion with your molecular shape. I don't know how to explain that. But it's like you can feel every molecule as you pass through it. I don't think it's so much the material as it's the denial of access that does that to you. I can't explain it.
So what he's saying is going through the vault door was different, right? He could feel that. And, just trying to steel man, right, what he's saying here. And he's not saying, oh, well, because I was getting ready to ask that question myself, right? Well, why not just a drywall? wall, you feel the molecular, right? But he's saying it's the denial of access into there that gives it. So there's some sort of aura there. But what's interesting is the denial of access is only for certain people, right? Because a vault door, obviously people have a key and can open it. No denial of access. So the vault has no understanding of denial of access or anything. The materials don't understand that concept. So is it just his mental, like it's just his own personal thing? He's able to get through that so it feels different? That's possible, right? Like, meaning it has nothing, if another remote viewer did it, they may not feel that going through it, right? Think of it like a runner on a leg of a race, right? Some race legs are different for other people, right? So it could be just that. I don't know. Just trying to understand that concept, because I was going to ask that, right? Like, well, what if you're traveling through, right? Why does the material matter? Steel, concrete, dirt, right? Because essentially you could remote view to the center of the earth, right? You could remote view plasma to the sun. You could remote view anywhere you wanted, right? Under the oceans, to the ocean bases, to all where all the UFOs are, where everything is kept. I don't know how we don't know every secret if remote viewers can see them. Now, I did a video months ago about that. Like, why haven't remote viewers found all the UFOs for us, right? All the secrets. We should have all the secrets if remote viewers can see all this stuff. And I was told they have, just nobody listens to them. So I don't know. I mean, I guess that could somewhat be true. But why wouldn't we just know all the answers, all the secrets, all the stuff? Like, why isn't David Grush going to these remote viewers and saying, okay, take me to this? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. This guy is interesting. He's got some very interesting stories, fascinating stories of stuff he's seen on Mars, in Alaska, hidden underground alien bases. I mean, all kinds of stuff, right? Again, I don't know anything about this. I don't know the limits of our consciousness. So clearly, and I've personally never experienced this, but I don't know if it's possible or not. I can't confirm or deny that, right? So it's his experience, just playing it here, right? Now, you have remote viewing, and then you have CE5, right? Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where people try to connect with entities. This is different, right? Supposedly they're different things, but they get connected a lot. But I would also be equally scared to use something we don't know, like this sort of power, and try this. What if it backfires? What if your brain fries? What if, like he's saying, you're passing through that out of body and you get stuck out of body? You can't get back to your body. We don't know. He can't guarantee that, right? Because they say anybody can learn this, but then I've also heard not everybody can learn it, right? So it's interesting. But what if you get stuck out of body? What if you get stuck in that, right? Like, there are no rules because we don't know the limits of our consciousness. The same reasoning people use to tell you, hey, keep an open mind about this. It could be true. Well, with that same logic, you'd have to say, yes, but, right, the same logic, one, it could not be true, but also, well, we don't know everything about it, so why mess with it? What's going to happen to you, right? Do people know that signing up to do this? People aren't told that stuff when they're saying, yeah, try remote viewing, try this. They don't give those warnings, right? That you could never come back from this, potentially. And if someone says, no, that's impossible, you don't know. You don't know the limits of it because we don't understand it all the way, right? So, anyway.
But you get inside the room and you go to the northwest corner. I'm not sure I was at the northwest corner. I just went to wherever the table was. And there was an object about this size on the table, and I pushed my face into it, and I memorized it in detail. Tried to understand how the parts interworked with each other, that kind of thing. And then woke myself up, and I went in. I had a drafting table in my home, and I drew a detailed picture of it. and I rolled it up, put it in a tube, and mailed it to the people that had tasked me. They came out some weeks later, 2 guys, and they said, we have some questions we want to ask you. And I said, fine. They said, where did you take high energy physics? And I said, I have never taken high energy physics anywhere. Okay, who do you know that's a high energy physicist? And I said, I know one guy, Ed May. He's my good buddy from the lab, LFR, Laboratories for Fundamental Research. I've known him in the remote viewing area since I started.
Real quick, let me just say that I like his storytelling. I like, he seems very personable. And I honestly don't get any signs of, deception from this guy. He just seems like he is retelling something. Now, that doesn't mean it's true or not. I'm just saying how I feel about it. Because sometimes you just get that feeling off of people. And he just seems like my grandpa telling the story, and it seems very reasonable, like you want to listen, right? So my opinion, basically why I bring this up is, regardless if you believe in this or not, or you think whatever, he is fascinating to listen to. So I recommend the interview, right? He's a good storyteller. Now, if those stories are true or not, I don't know. But I don't get any sort of signs of deception off of him. And that's it, like he's purposely trying to lie to us and get, some agenda or something. No, I mean, yeah, I kind of like this guy. You know what I mean?
I said, I know him. He's a low energy physicist. I don't know any high energy physicists. Okay. Where do you check your books out? What libraries? And I was like, oh, come on. I'm starting to think, you don't believe what I did. You think I just psychically figured out what it was, and I've asked people in detail about it. No, we just really want to know where you sign your books out. So I gave them permission letters to go to the 2 libraries I used and ask, what books did he sign out? That sort of thing. I think they were very badly misled when they saw what books I signed out. So,
I mean, he could have not mentioned the libraries, other library. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's weird.
Got the idea that they didn't believe what happened, and it pissed me off. So I said I could build something better than what I saw.
What did you see?
I'm not sure. Some kind of a trigger or something.
For
a device of some kind. I don't know. But I knew I could build one better just by going into light fiber. This was a copper wire thing. I said I could speed it up 100,000 times with light fiber. In fact, I could make it so fast it would get warm when it runs, or hot even, and melt down. So I'd have to put it in an acrylic cube and run coolant through it.
If he doesn't know what it is, how does he know it would run faster? By adding these cables, right? That doesn't make sense to me. Right? If you don't know what it is, how are you going to rebuild this thing from your memory and make it better if you don't know what it is? You don't know what better is, or worse. Right? What if it makes it worse? It doesn't make sense. So that's interesting. A trigger for some kind of device. And why would you need to make a trigger better? I mean, if it works, it works. Right? It's just that simple. So I don't know. Smaller maybe? I don't know. But again, if he doesn't know exactly what it is.
So I did all that. And I drew it in detail. But it was down to about twice the size of a pack of cigarettes. And I drew it to scale, in detail, with lots of notes and stuff. The big thing was there was a trigger in it. I don't know if there are certain things that if you put too much power to them, it'll kill a city. It'll shut all the power down. It's like the big lights over a football field. If you just snap a switch and turn them all on at one time, the city goes dead, goes dark. So they have these switches that are slow build switches. They come on very slowly, and the lights come on very dim, and they start brightening, and eventually they come up to operating speed. That way the light doesn't explode when it's suddenly lit and all the power is going to the lights and that sort of thing. Well, I needed one of those switches, and I couldn't find one. I went to 3 or 4 different electronic places. So I finally found a switch that would work, and I drew that into the plan. And I roll it up, put it in a tube, and mail it. They showed up the next day. Non-disclosure agreements. Never promised never to draw this again ever. Don't show this to anybody. Don't talk about it in detail with anybody. Blah, blah, blah. So I signed all their papers and said bye. I've never been tasked with another out-of-body target.
Can I ask why you...
How could they show up the next day if he sent it off? It got there overnight, I guess. And then they had enough time to look at it, decide what they were going to do with him, and then send a squad to him. Does that make sense? Like they had time to travel to him. Like that's a lot happening. But whatever. Maybe that's just, he meant a couple days. They show up, have him sign non-disclosure agreements, and clearly he's breaking all that by talking about it, right? I don't know how you're building something if you don't know what it is. I can understand using something you don't know how it works. I mean, I drive a car. I don't know how it works. I'm talking to this mic. I barely know how this thing works. Computers, right? There's a lot of stuff we use. We don't know. I couldn't build a smartphone. I got an iPhone. But if I saw it remote viewed an iPhone, I couldn't build it from scratch, especially if I didn't know what it was. If you don't know what it is, you don't know the capabilities it needs to have or not have, right? Anything about it. So that's interesting. I don't know about that. I guess I just need more information there. I don't understand. But yeah, as far as signing non-disclosure agreements, I mean, I wonder why he's just breaking that now. He just said, screw it. Don't build it. Don't talk about it. Don't discuss this. All right. I mean, yeah, I get that. If he was onto something, you hear that a lot. Again, this guy's considered remote viewer number 1. Their number 1 guy. Let me go back a little bit here.
Sign
the... Blah, blah, blah. So I signed all their papers and said bye. I've never been tasked with another out-of-body target.
Can I ask why you signed those papers?
Because I didn't give a shit.
Did it bother you that somebody was having you sign documents basically saying we're going to limit your mental capacity?
No, because I can still go out of body anytime I want. I can still do things out of body. I just don't tell people about it.
So if it did work, why wouldn't the government be like, oh, okay, this guy's legit. Let's get him to, look up secrets of our enemies and stuff. It seems odd that you would close that guy off if what it did, it worked. I don't understand that. Maybe somebody tell me in the comments what's going on there. What am I not understanding about that? All right. Because I know you guys love to tell me in the comments what I don't get or understand, which totally fair. Vet the vetter, the original vetter, right? Go for it. Yeah, I just don't get that.
Where was the building?
I don't know. I honestly don't.
How did you find it?
Good question.
I don't know
Shawn.
the answer to that either. I just kept looking everywhere I went out of body. I just kept looking.
How did you?
How do you travel an out of body that you could just find some random building in the world? Can you imagine the amount of trips that would take? Like, how fast are you going? And And at that speed, you can take in where you need to go. Like, you get a sense of this is the space they gave me. Because, again, all they told him was a building with a vault, a lab, a desk in a corner with an object on it. You're telling me that couldn't be like 1,000 places on Earth or more? So right, how do you know what country to go to, where to go? I don't know. I don't understand this. I'm just backing up a little bit.
Did you find it?
I don't know the answer to that either. I just kept looking everywhere I went out of body. I just kept looking.
How did you begin the search?
Hey everybody, I'm Shawn Ryan. Click.
So, see, good job, Shawn. This is a good clip right there. Leave you hanging. Again, I'll put links in the description. Go watch it all. See, where he goes with it. Again, he basically, feel free to watch it, but he basically just keeps saying, I don't know. I don't know how I found it. I don't know how I got there. Right. So, he's an interesting guy. He's an interesting guy. He tells a very interesting story. Remote viewing is interesting. But I still find I'm still a little apprehensive to ever try it, just for the fact of, I don't know what I'm playing with. All right. Same thing with C5. I don't want to try that. I don't even want to try it one time. I just don't want to mess with that stuff. If that's actually happening and people are talking to entities, that sounds so dangerous to me. Right? You don't know what you're doing. You think you do. You say they're this, that, right? It's the same thing with remote viewing. You're getting out of body. How do you know you'll come back? You don't. So the idea of trying something like that, I don't know. Right? And I mean, look, this is how, in my opinion, this is how you get a remote. If you want to really test a remote viewer, get an envelope, put a blank piece of paper in it. Put nothing in the envelope and say, tell me what's on this, make up something. Tell me what's on this piece of paper. That's what you say. Tell me what's on this piece of paper. And then don't put anything in the envelope. No paper, no nothing. There's nothing on. There's nothing to remote. So any answer they give will be wrong. Right? Unless they say, oh, there's nothing in there. That's a good way to test it. Find out. I've thought about doing that myself, but to be honest with you, I just thought, I don't feel right doing some sort of gotcha on somebody. I don't like that idea. But if someone else wants to try it, go for it. But that's basically how you would test a remote viewer. And what you could do is do a couple that do have stuff in it so that they kind of get, okay, testing me. And then on one of them, just put nothing in it. It's that simple. You'll know right away. So anyway, I don't know. Curious what everyone thinks about remote viewing. Again, CE5 is sort of connected. The stuff he talks about, this guy, I would put in the same category, right? Joe McMoneagle here. But he's got a fascinating story. In tomorrow's video, that's what we're going to go over. Project Stargate, all the other psychics that were involved, the stuff that they worked on. Why did they even put that project together, right? Why is the CIA funding psychic research, right, from the 70s, right? And who are the other players involved? And many names and most of you probably have heard of Project Stargate or seen videos on it or whatever, So that's all we're going to do. We're going to dive into that. And for those that don't know, we'll get a refresher course for those that do, right? So, just fascinating. Right? Because I think telekinesis, psychic abilities, those two things are very appealing and tempting, because that honestly has, you could separate that from UFOs, aliens, extraterrestrials, right? All that stuff, just like our own human superpower that we could have, testing the limits of humanity. And that intrigues me. I got to admit, that intrigues me, because humans, I could see. I'm a human, right? I swear. You know what I mean? It's like I can see what humans can do. I can see the limits that humans have pushed themselves and gone, wow, I didn't know that was possible. Somebody could do that, right? But then they do it. And then someone will beat that, right? So that idea is fascinating to me, right? I've had a conversation with my friends about this. I've always said that I think the people that can do something the best at it, whatever that thing is, they've never done it. The people that want to do certain things and are good at, they have done it. So I don't think we've ever seen the fastest runner, the tallest, jumper, the strongest person, the best guitar player, the best songwriter, the best best actor, best this, best that, right? Because they just never wanted to do it. They never went down that path. Because the people that, right, does it make sense what I'm saying? Like, just, you know what I mean? How many times do you run into somebody with some raw natural talent, you're like, wow, you didn't do that. You didn't pursue that, right? It's like a lot of opportunity and luck and all this stuff, but why certain people become the top of their fields and this and that, right? I'm not saying that there aren't great people at the top of their fields. There are. So that's fascinating to me because I don't think we know humanity's limits, our own minds' limits, our own bodies' limits, right? So that's why this intrigues me. Remote viewing, out-of-body experiences. This is all something anyone can relate to, right? And it just sounds cool, right? Telekinesis, psychic abilities, right? That just sounds cool if we had that. And if you think about it, there could be some sort of science, physical connection. Once you find out that, like, there is, let's say I'm looking over here, right? Or behind me. See that candle behind me right there, right? Like, in between my thumb here and that candle is just air, right? Air molecules, right? You keep going and keep going. It's connected. I'm connected to that candle, but like, how could I send some energy to bring it to my hand right here, right? Like, so there's some sort of science, like, could that happen? Could we, right? I find that fascinating. There's something mentally, right? Electricity. I don't know. We just haven't figured it out. Of course, right? I don't know. It is fascinating to think about because, I don't know. I just find it fascinating. So anyway, excited to jump into tomorrow's video, Project Stargate. Stick around. That's what we're going to go over. And give me any, if you want, throw down some videos or something you think I should watch to prep for that or something, I guess. All right, y'all. We'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Excited to read the comments about this and what we cover tomorrow. So anyway. All right, y'all. Remember, every day's a gift. See you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. Peace.